Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning. Mr. Chair, I, together with other members of this committee, will give a summary of the legal liabilities of the public officials and personalities involved in relation to the utilization of the confidential funds. Ang unang krimen na pag-uusapan po natin ngayong araw ay ang tinatawag na technical malversation under the revised penal code. Ano po ba ito? Simply stated, it means that an accountable officer applies public funds to another purpose, kahit public purpose pa yan, which is different from that which they were originally appropriated for by law or ordinance. Sa madaling salita, ginamit sa ibang bagay ang pera ng taong bayan at hindi napunta sa original officer o di kaya yung head of agency. Second, yung public funds na nasa custody niya napunta o ginamit sa ibang public purpose. Third, yung public purpose na pinuntahan ng public funds ay hindi yung purpose na inaprubahan na paggagamitan ng public funds na yon. Kaya naman, ang technical malversation ay base sa paggamit ng public funds sa ibang bagay kung saan ito ay talagang nilaan, kahit anuman ang intensyon o purpose ng paggamit nito. Even if the public funds are used for the benefit of the people, this is still penalized by law. Let's look at several instances of technical malversation that we have seemed to have uncovered. Ang pinag-uusapan po natin sa hearing na ito ay kadalasan tungkol sa confidential funds. Paulit-ulit po, and as confirmed by the Commission on Audit itself, confidential funds are only to be used for confidential expenses. Kaso pagdating po sa Office of the Vice President, yung COA na po mismo ang nag-flag sa pamamagitan ng Notice of Disallowance which says na hindi mapakita ng accountable officers, kulang-kulang ang mga binigay na dokumento o ebidensya na magpapatunay o magpapakita na confidential funds were used for the confidential expenses that are allowed under the joint circular. Let us emphasize that the joint circular requires that the confidential funds must be spent only for confidential expenses like those incurred in relation to national security and peace and order, confidential activities, among others. Such requirement was not complied with by the OVP, katulad ng itong tinutukoy na payment of tables, chairs, desktop, computers, and printers which were not even specified to be for confidential operations. Let's assume na lang po, dahil hindi alam ng SDO kung totoo ba o hindi, na talagang gumastos ng 3.5 million pesos ang OBP para sa mga office equipment na ito. Mali po na confidential funds ang ginamit nila for this. This is clear technical malversation.
Ngayon, meron pa pong isang paglabag sa batas at ito ay ang falsification. Ano po ba ang falsification? Sa ating saligang batas, ito po ay may elemento po paggawa po ng itong krimen o violation ng falsification. The staff, can you please show the slide? These are the elements of falsification. Number one, the offender is a public officer or employee or notary public. Number two, the offender takes advantage of his official position. And number three, he or she falsifies a document by committing any of the acts mentioned in Article 171 of the Revised Penal Code. Now, isa po pong violation ay ang use of falsified documents. Iba po ito sa falsification. Ito po ay isang krimen or violation ng batas natin na depende sa circumstansya. Next slide, please. Ang liable po for this crime is if alam ng isang tao ng document ay falsified at ito ay ginamit pa rin niya. Ano ba ang mga elemento nito? Una, the offender knew that a document was falsified by another person. Pangalawa, the false document is embraced in Article 171 or in any of subdivisions numbers 1 and 2 of Article 172. Pangatlo, he used such document not in judicial proceedings. And pang-apat, the use of the false document caused damage to another, or at least it was used with intent to cause such damage. Next slide, please. Ito po ang mga elemento of use of falsified documents. Ang importante dito is the use of the document. Clearly po, ginamit po yung affidavit, or rather, yung falsified acknowledgement receipts. They were used to justify the liquidation for hundreds of millions of confidential funds. Ito po yung mga sample na mga dokumento na pinakikita natin ngayon. Naalala po natin ang mga liquidation reports ng ARs na paulit-ulit natin pinakita sa mga hearings dito ng mga signature nila SDO Acosta, SDO Fajarda, ay nag-certify na ang confidential funds ay napunta sa confidential expenses. Ngunit, ang totoo po na pag-alaman natin, ito ay confirm nila SDO Acosta at SDO Fajarda mismo na hindi nila alam kung saan napunta ang confidential funds.
In addition to the offenses which have been raised already by our esteemed colleagues, I wish to add perjury. Perjury can be committed orally or in writing. If it is orally, the perfect example or illustration, I believe, are misrepresentations during inquiry in aid of legislation. We often hear this: you will be committing perjury because all resource persons in inquiry in aid of legislation and even in all forms of investigation, we place them under oath. At ang lahat ng pagsisinungaling while under oath, we call it perjury. Ano po ba ang sabi ng mga SDO? We all learned from the hearing on November 25 that while SDO Acosta did encash the check, according to her, wala po siyang alam kung saan napunta yung confidential funds kasi po ito ay turn over sa VP SPG. Mr. Chair, this is totally, if not completely, contradictory to the contents of the certification. The next offense that I wish to raise, Mr. Chair, is bribery. And we have to take this in consideration with the counter offense, corruption of public officers. Simply stated, Mr. Chair, sa isang korupsyon or anomalya, may isang nanunuhol at may isang sinusuhulan. The offense committed by the author of corruption is Article 212, that is corruption of public officers. On the assumption, Mr. Chair, na tinanggap ang suhol, then the offense committed by the one who received the money, we call it bribery. May mga empleyado sa DepEd na tumanggap ng white envelopes in the same period within the confidential funds for DepEd were released. Hindi po ba kahina-hinala yan? And you can see from the screen, OVP executive admits, inamin, handing cash envelopes to DepEd officials. Next slide, please. We may recall, it was former USEC Gloria Mercado who first revealed to us that she received 9 envelopes with 25,000 in a span of 9 months. Ito'y ibinigay ni Sunshine Fajarda ang mga envelopes kay Yusek Mercado at sinabi na galing ito sa Vice Presidente Sara Duterte. Malinaw na ang ganitong pagkakataon ay hindi normal. Hindi normal na ang boss ay nagbibigay bigla ng sobre na may 25,000 each for 9 months to her very own head of procurement. Anyone can easily conclude that this is not merely out of generous heart of VP Duterte, but was precisely given in attempt to influence Yusek Mercado, to which she failed to do. And we may recall, Mr. Chair, during our interpellation with Yusek Gloria Mercado, she admitted believing that those envelopes were given to her to influence her decision as Hope. Next slide, please. It was not a surprise when former Chairman Resty Osayas, this is our second DepEd official, he is the chairman of DepEd Bids and Awards Committee. He admitted siya rin ay nakatanggap ng sobre na may laman na pera. Again, another key official in the procurement process of the DepEd. And yet again, another act of corruption plaguing in the DepEd. Yung nauna, Mr. Chair, Yusek Mercado, she was the hope of DepEd. And this time, we have Chairman Resty Osayas, Chairman of DepEd Bids and Awards Committee. Both admitted having received envelopes with money inside. Next slide, please. Of course, sino pong makakalimot sa ating Chief Accountant ng DepEd, Ms. Runa Catalan. Like former Yusek Mercado, like Mr. Osayas, Ma'am Catalan received the same number of envelopes containing the same amount of money in the same period of February to September 2023. Again, another key official in the DepEd who necessarily deals with the public funds of the DepEd was blinded by an alleged gift from VP Duterte. But it was later on revealed that she was requested by Sunshine Fajarda, the very person who handed her the envelopes, to sign the liquidation reports without its supporting documents. Again, corruption prevailed. Ultimately, Mr. Chair, is the crime of plunder. Ano nga ba ang plunder, Mr. Chair? Sa ilalim po ng Section 2 ng ating Anti-Plunder Act, nakasaad dito ay ang pagnanakaw ng pera mula sa kaban ng bayan na may halaga na higit sa 50 million pesos sa pamamagitan ng paggawa ng ibang krimen. Next slide, please. Kung makikita po natin sa ating screen, mayroong total na 7 umaabot sa 612,500,000 pesos. Ang 4 na tseke ay mula sa OVP, umabot ng 500 million pesos, at ang 3 pang tseke ay mula sa DepEd na nagkakahalaga naman ng 112,500,000 pesos. Mr. Chair, ang nabanggit na halaga, 612,500,000 pesos, lagpas sa 50 million pesos na required para sa kasong plunder. Ang mga checking ito ay lahat nakapangalan kay Ms. Gina Acosta bilang Special Disbursing Officer ng DepEd. Inamin niya sa atin na imbis na i-disburse na ito as confidential expenses ay sinunod ang utos ng Vice Presidente na ibigay ang pera sa kanyang security officer. Dito naman po sa Department of Education, ang payee sa mga tseke ay ang Special Disbursing Officer Edward Fajarda. Former Special Disbursing Officer of DepEd. Inamin rin niya na nung nakaraang hearing na ang perang kanyang natatanggap ay kanyang ibinibigay sa security officer sa utos din ng ating Vice Presidente. Amounts involved here far surpass the threshold for plunder na mas kilala bilang pandarambong